Yo, what is up? It's Michael Faze, and welcome to another episode of Work Smart, Play Hard. Now, on today's episode is going to be a little bit of a repeat, only because I messed up on the last time that I did a huge EDM synth tutorial, and I wanted it to do it right because I was recording in FL, and that required my mic to be a little louder than usual. So, last time I didn't have the volume set right. ADD, what can you say? But anyways, in today's episode, I'm going to show you guys how to get a huge EDM synth, with the lead, the super saw chord that we all know and love. And you can do this for any sort of genre if you're going to go about using this particular sound. Now, before we begin, don't forget to help a brother out by sharing this video and giving it a thumbs up on YouTube or Facebook. Now, without further ado, on to the project. So, within this preview, I'll play the preview and let you guys hear what it sounds like, essentially. So get up! Now it sounds a little bit different, and it's than the actual completed version because I bounced everything out to audio, and I turned up this knob on the top lead. So get up! But I did that for good reasons. So I'm in a previous project right now, so it might be a little bit buggy, but for now, essentially, to make a big EDM synth, you need at least 4 of these things. You need the top lead, you need the chords, you need the atmosphere, which would be like the pads or textures, and you also need a very good bass line. So the first thing we need to show is the first layer. First layer is the fork lead that I have. I'm gonna have everything dry. Oh, here we go. Turn that off. Sorry about that. So you can tell right off the bat it's not that powerful. It's only really made to be a layer, an undertone for the top lead. And essentially all I did was cut out some of the high end, keep it really simple, so that way in the mastering process, when I do have all these things playing, I can just add the top end manually. I also did a bell dip around 1.5K just so the main lead can cut through and make its way through the center of the mix. I cut out some of the body, which is at 154. I cut it out completely just so the main lead can cut through. The main lead and the fork layer actually work very well together because I also put a fruity delay on here, and that's just for movement. So together it sounds like that. Now with the fork lead, it's great. I can also keep, the fork lead dry and, well, not the fork lead, but the code phase lead, to leave it very dry, and it can be the center of the attention. Normally when you have things that are wet, it doesn't have that sort of impact. Now with the code phase lead, I did pretty much the same thing, except I was a little bit more drastic with my my high end cut, and I cut at 8K, and then the body at 188, and I did it really dramatically at negative 11.2 that I had it before, and then the cut at negative 18, and it sounds like this without anything. Now with the transient monster, and the low pass isn't really doing much, but with the transient monster, it makes it very snappy. And I just went for a very subtle effect. I'm using Stillwell Transient Monster, so it's a very subtle effect. If I wanted more sustain, I can just go. But I just wanted that little click, just so it's nice and clicky. Now the support lead, which is very important. That's just to give things more depth. And I cut out more dramatically of the high cuts. Then at 3.7K, I left some of the body there at 90 hertz. And with everything, it should sound like this. Now, if you wanted your lead to sound more, I guess more saw-ish, you can always turn this support lead up. Now, some of the pitch bend isn't right necessarily because I still have to edit it, and this is a previous version of the project. So I did do a few number of things with the pitch bend for this, so don't mind the pitch bend. Now, the other layer that I have is uncommon to do this, but I found that it works for me. I put chords in the same bus as the top lead just so it can, add on to the top lead. And I did a cut at 90, still left some of the body, and I did a dip at 1.5K so I can let the top lead come through. And same thing again with the highs at 8.9. It's very nice. With this, however, with this super saw, I normally just put SS saws for S saws for super saws. But with this, if I mute this, it sounds very huge. So you see that, and what I ended up doing was that I added a Saturn. And that was just to give it more drive, more distortion, something very clear. Now with the Saturn, you'll see the same thing, that I have my low end going, my high end going very low, and some of my low end body just driving it up and putting some saturation on it. Also note I have HQ on, auto mute, and then I put the ends at +2 and -2. It's really weird, but I found that this just works. And then editing the mix at 34, so it's not too crazy. At 100%, it just sounds really, really weird. At 34%, it sounds just right for me. Now, I have another EQ, and this is just so I can pretty much separate the frequencies throughout my speaker. The sides, which essentially sounds like this. And the mids. And this helps me with my own sound because I'm taming my own frequencies and I'm spreading them out and not really fucking too much with the mono signal too much, as opposed to me leaving it at left and right. So you can hear the clear difference. Now I have added some highs in here and pushed them back down, and it's just because of this difference between the side and the mids. Aside from that, I put a transient monster again just to make it a little snappy. and then a fruity delay for extra movement. And with the fruity delay, you can do something really cool with the sample rate and just make it bit crush a bit. Really cool, really cool. I also have a sidechain in here in case I want to do a euphoric hardstyle drop. And I've customized my own sidechain, so I'm customizing the low band and the mids and highs at 57%, so it's really subtle. Then the other thing I have is an OTT just to make things a bit louder and tame some of the other frequencies and bring some of the lows down. And the other thing I have here is Ozone Imager, and when I was running the lead, I pressed learn, and essentially it set these parameters for the entire frequency range that it was at. And the low end, I essentially just, give me a sec, I put everything on mono. Then the mids, a little bit mono. And then the mid highs, a bit stereo. And then the high end all mostly stereo. Now I know a lot of you are gonna give me, you know, some stuff about it, but again, this is what I found works. And when I play it in a mono system in a club, it still sounds the same. It's really weird. So I don't really have too many problems with this. And together, they sound, if I turn this on. Sorry about that. I'll edit that little pop so that way you guys don't hear that. But in this chain for the top, kept it real simple. I did the same thing, a notch at 4500 just so things wouldn't, you know, fatigue your ears or any of that with the high frequencies. I'd be a little bit more drastic about it. Really weird. Again, this is just my way of doing things, and then I split the mids. And a little bit of OTT. That's just to tweak some of the compression and make it tighter, I guess, and a little bit louder. Same thing with the sidechain, manual sidechain, so that way I can get a nice pump if I wanted a euphoric drop. And then the imager. Now, right or wrong, and it's phasing because I had these channels on. Unfortunately, I couldn't catch my eye on that. So you hear the difference when I turn it on and off. Now the rest is going to be the bass line, which adds body, and then the atmosphere, the pads, and everything. And obviously the reverb, which I had a tutorial on yesterday, and I will have a tutorial on the delay by itself, hopefully sometime this weekend. But yeah, I did, and together it all sounds like. So again, this is just my process. I'm not saying it's the right way. This is just how I've learned to get the sound that I've wanted. So if anyone knows an even better way of doing this, leave a comment below. We're here just to share info, how we got things. I'm not saying I'm the master at this stuff, but this is the way I get my sound. Anyways, that's pretty much it for today. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends on Facebook, YouTube, wherever. And if you're new here, show some love by hitting that bell icon and subscribe so you don't miss out on any new content. Lastly, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you for letting me be able to do what I love and help you guys achieve your dreams too, while we're all learning at the process. I will see you guys next time.